The Nighttime Visitor. I was 17 years old when I moved to New Mexico to attend a Bible institute. People hear Roswell and immediately think about UFOs and aliens. That wasn't what occupied my thoughts. I was learning about something far stranger. I was learning about the unseen world. During this time, I lived on the ministry property behind the main building. There wasn't a dormitory for students, so we parked a small camper on a concrete slab, and that became my temporary home. It wasn't much. This camper was the kind that fit in the bed of a pickup. Tiny kitchen, tiny table, tiny bed. Just enough room for a young man who was trying to figure out what God wanted to do with his life. What I remember most wasn't the size of it. It was the darkness. Once the sun went down, the backside of the property disappeared into blackness. No streetlights reached that far. No porch lights, no security lights. My camper didn't even have an exterior light. If I opened the door at night, I needed a flashlight or moonlight just to know where I was stepping. I wasn't afraid of the dark. Well, at least not any more than anyone else. But the longer I stayed in school, the more I was exposed to things I had never considered before. We studied spiritual warfare. We studied the forces of darkness. I would travel with some of the instructors to ministry meetings where I witnessed things I couldn't easily explain. The world was becoming much larger than I had imagined. And because of that, I found myself at night listening more carefully when I was alone. Not listening for people, listening for things I couldn't see. Winter came early in Roswell. Darkness settled in long before bedtime. Most evenings I would eat supper at one of the instructors' homes and return to the camper afterward. I'd sit there at the little table near the foot of the bed studying my lessons. Sometimes I would read. Sometimes I would listen to the radio. Mostly I was just trying to ignore how quiet everything was. There is a kind of silence you only experience when you're completely alone. My camper sat in that kind of silence. One night I climbed into bed and turned out the light. Like most nights, everything seemed normal. I drifted toward sleep. Then I heard something. A sound, a movement. I rolled over and watched my locked door open. At first, I thought someone had come into the camper. I could actually see the outline of a figure entering, tall, dark, wearing what looked like a long coat. On its head was a hat that reminded me of old photographs from the 1920s. The entire figure was black, not black clothing, black silhouette. There wasn't enough light to make out details. Only shape, only movement. But the figure wasn't what terrified me. Something came in with it. Even now, 45 years later, I struggle to explain it. Fear entered that camper. Not ordinary fear. Not the kind you feel when you hear a noise outside your house. This fear seemed alive. My entire body locked up. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. Every muscle became rigid. I couldn't move. I couldn't even look away. Then the figure crossed the camper and sat down at the small table beside my bed. The same table where I studied every evening. That same table only a few feet from where I was. I stared at it. It stared back. At least I believe it did. I couldn't see a face. I could see the outline of a head. I could see the shape, but there was no face. Looking back, I believe that was mercy. Some things are better left unseen. I wanted to pray. I wanted to call on Jesus. I wanted to shout. I wanted to do anything. But fear had wrapped itself around me so tightly that I couldn't force words out of my mouth. So I prayed silently. God, help me. Please help me. I'm afraid. Time stretched. Minutes felt like hours. I don't know how long I stared at that thing. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 30. I only know that eventually my desperate prayer became very simple. God, please help me. And then something strange happened. I fell asleep, not gradually, not peacefully. One moment I was terrified. The next moment I was gone. When I opened my eyes again, sunlight was filling the camper. Morning had arrived. The fear was gone. The presence was gone. Everything felt normal. I sat there on the edge of my bed, thinking about what had happened. And the conclusion I reached was simple. I believed God had put me to sleep, intentionally. I believed He had handled whatever needed handling, without my help, without my bravery, without my understanding, just His protection. I thanked Him. And I remember saying something else, something almost funny now. I told God that I wanted nothing to do with this side of ministry. I didn't want any part of confronting things that I couldn't explain or understand. I didn't want spiritual warfare. I didn't want encounters with darkness. I would have been perfectly happy just preaching sermons and talking about Jesus. But as I would eventually learn, God sometimes has plans for us that don't include our preferences. And for me, that night was only the beginning.
Out behind a ministry school, on the edge of Roswell, New Mexico. I was 17 years old, living alone in a little camper, trying to learn what it meant to follow God. I thought I was being trained for ministry. I didn't know I was being trained for battle. I was 17 and far from home, living in a camper all alone, out behind a building on the edge of town, where the darkness settled heavy when the sun went down. A Bible on the table, a notebook by the light, trying to learn to hear God's voice in the silence of the night. The winter wind was whispering, the radio was low. I drifted off to sleep that night, like any night I know. And something opened my locked door and stepped inside my room. A shadow dressed in darkness, bringing with it fear and gloom. I thought it was an intruder, a stranger in the night, but something deeper followed him. Something wasn't right. He moved across that little room and sat down by my bed. I couldn't see his face at all, just the fear inside my head. I wanted to call but the king is still beside you. I lay there staring at that thing, too afraid to turn away, frozen between faith and fear, waiting for the break of day. I learned that night a soldier's heart isn't measured by his fear, it's measured by the choice he makes when the darkness draws near. The enemy loves lonely roads and places far from sight. He whispers to the sons of God, you're on your own tonight. But fear can only tell a lie, it cannot change what's true. The God who stood with Daniel still stands beside you too. And though I couldn't find the strength to fight the way I planned, God stepped into that little camper when I could barely stand. Hold the line, stand where heaven planted you. When the night gets long and the shadows come into view, hold the line, even when your knees may shake. The God who called you into battle will never walk away. You may tremble, you may feel afraid. The war is real, the loss is too, but the king is still beside you. The enemy wants you to believe that you're standing there alone, but you're not. You never were. Every prayer whispered through trembling lips, every tear cried in the dark, every battle fought when nobody else could see. He was there. He has always been there. Hold the line, hold the line, hold the line, I was 17 and far from home, living in a camper all alone, out behind a building on the edge of town. I was 17 and far from home, living in a camper all alone.